Hello, my name is Max Taylor, and today I'm going to be giving a brief presentation on video games outside of the United States and Japan. Specifically, we're going to be looking at video games in the country of South Korea, their history with video games, and specifically their history with video games in terms of esports. Because, of course, when talking about video games in South Korea, you cannot forget to mention their absolute affinity for esports. So, without further ado, let's get straight into today's presentation: South Korea's history with esports and video games. So, starting at the beginning, from the 1970s to the early 1990s, some of the first games in Korea were actually Pong machines imported to cities like Seoul, and many of the following games after that were Pong clones made by companies like Samsung and Goldstar known today as LG. Korea also started mainly as an importer of games as well, importing games from Japan and the United States. However, during this time, and specifically during the 1970s, arcades were super rare. Only 43 arcades opened with government approval, with hundreds more starting illegally. This is mainly due to the views of electronic entertainment at that time from conservative parents, media corporations, and government officials alike. South Korea had a very different culture when it came to entertainment at that time, and also very different government rulings at that time than what they have today. As a result, it was very difficult for foreign companies such as Nintendo and Sega to push their consoles into the market, so they often had to license it to consoles in Korea already. On top of that, games from outside of Korea were rarely translated into Korean, so it was harder for gamers to get into video games in South Korea. So as you can imagine, at the start of the 1990s, games in Korea weren't getting as much hype as they were in places like the United States and Japan, mainly because Korean developers didn't really have the same resources or skills that the developers from other countries had, like the United States and Japan. And also because of the reasons stated before, rarely localized well. So, not much hype, but that changed in 1992 when PC games gained a much bigger following. Why is that? Well, it's because of improvements in computer displays. More PCs at home started to get colored displays for home computers, and they started to become a lot more powerful as well, so they could run much more complicated games. As a result, two breakout successes of this time are the RPGs known as Astonishing Story and a remake of Wise 2 Special for the MS-DOS. So, after this presentation, give them a look out. So this adoption of PC gaming led to the growth of LAN PC gaming centers in Korea all across, known as PC bombs or PC rooms, literally in English. And pretty much what these were LAN gaming centers where a lot of people would come in. It was like these social events where people would come in and they would have a great time and they would have soda and other stuff. And they had all of these online and multiplayer games that you could play with each other in these rooms. And a lot of the machines here as well are much more powerful than what most Koreans have at their own homes. Now, the growth of these rooms started to become a lot more exponential after the release of StarCraft in 1998. And in turn, because these rooms had multiple games for offer, online gaming and competitive gaming in general just became a lot more popular in South Korea. Of course, this led to the beginning of Korean esports. All this growth in PC and online gaming led to competitive online games, specifically MOBAs or multiplayer online battle arenas like League of Legends and StarCraft, picking up widespread steam all across the nation. As such, South Korea became known for its widespread support of esports gaming. In fact, the Korean government has developed a department for esports rulings in the form of the Korean Esports Association, otherwise known as KSPA. In 2005 as well, as a little fun fact, the Korean government also started building its first dedicated esports arenas, some of the first in the world. Looking at Korea's scenes today, I'm looking at a screen, esports in Korea are widely celebrated nationwide, pulling an estimated $5 billion into South Korea's economy annually. So it is a huge deal because so many people from across the world will come to watch, and many other Koreans in the country just come to watch in general. It's a good thing. It brings people together. Players can also expect six-figure contracts, which blew my mind away, and they're also worshipped like actual celebrities and athletes, like they would be like here in the United States. And of course, many of the games that initially dominated the scenes, like League of Legends and StarCraft, still dominate the scene, but there are modern influences from Overwatch and Dota as well, for two examples. That about covers everything that I wanted to cover over today. Thank you for listening to my presentation. Of course, if you want to learn more, here are some sources you could head over to, and I will see you all next time.